Welcome to the Building Design Primetime Podcast, focused on providing valuable information for anyone looking to undertake a new build or extension project. We'll share our tips, tricks and stories from a building designer's perspective.
Welcome to the Building Design Primetime Podcast. I'm your host Amelia, and once again we're joined by Frank Hey
Amelia.
Hey, and we've got a special guest on today. Welcome Tahleah.
Hello.
Hey Tahleah. Thanks
Hi.
for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, look, we bribed you pretty well, I think.
I'm waiting for the chocolate to land on my desk.
Well, we had just had cake before.
That was coming anyway.
Yeah, well, still had cake.
I work for wine.
Well, that's good. I can live with that.
I can live with that
It's cheaper
too.
than the whiskey I have.
I'll have wine, whiskey or chocolate.
Actually, I'm disappointed. I thought you would have come up with some, better incentives than that. Because
I also
need
work
to
for
be on
overseas holidays and cruises.
Yep, I knew about that one.
I'll be in on that too.
Now everyone's on the bandwagon.
What are we talking about today?
Well, Tahleah's our in-house interiors and colour coordinator extraordinaire. She does pretty colours.
She does do pretty colours, pretty furniture, pretty materials.
Good taste.
Good taste.
Well, I believe that's an interior designer.
Yeah. You've got good taste. That's a good start.
I think so. You like it. That's good.
And so what led you into interior design?
When my children were young, my partner at the time was a builder, and I was at home as a stay-at-home mum, as well as doing his bookwork, running his business, but I needed something for myself, and TAFE was offering an interior decorating course at the time, and so I decided I would sign up to that because I thought it was a great additive to our building company, and that's where I started.
Wow.
It's also where we met. Not at TAFE, but,
Yeah, I met Frank when I was using SketchUp.
Yeah, that's right.
Good old SketchUp
SketchUp.
Draw up a proposal for an extension for our house at the time. And then when I finished my interior decorating course, I went to an open day at uni. I said to one of my friends that did the interior design course, I said, let's just go along and have a look and see what they have on offer. And I signed up for an interior design degree then. And then over the break, I realised actually architecture was where I wanted to be. So I signed up to an architecture degree just because.
Just because?
And I didn't realise what I'd set myself up for, but 4 years later, and I started working with Frank, and I've been here for 4 years.
Yes.
That's
Amazing.
the longest job I've ever held.
I didn't know that.
That is.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Must be all the cake.
And you started right in the COVID period too.
I did.
Yeah, that was crazy. We had all these people start COVID. Marco started in COVID.
I've basically...
Amy started in COVID.
Yes.
I was not far behind.
No, that's true. It was, that was a wild year, 2020.
COVID was our main hiring year.
It was off its head.
Yeah, government grants.
Oh, not just that. It was just how things worked out, and all the stress of 2020 it was full on. But let's talk about interiors. Let's be more positive.
How does it work? And I know a lot of people out there, they look at everything that's available, and to be honest, there's a lot of materials, colours available. Where do you even start? Because it is such an overwhelming process.
It's also very personal.
It is, yeah.
It is. I think your home is the most emotional investment you will make in your life. I've heard or read somewhere that there's 100,000 decisions to make when designing a home, and I think that might be true, to be honest. But where do you start? Start with an idea. When I first meet with a client, I say to them, get a Pinterest board or magazine cutting. Some people will be hard copy, folder, they'll have all of their ideas, or just a Pinterest board. Whatever inspiration you have, it starts to tell a story to me, and then I can work out what your goals are, what your needs are, what your vision is.
And so how do you personalise it from that? Because I know for you it is a bit of a story, a bit of an emotional journey, and I can see when you even go into, like if it's an established house that maybe is an extension, you take a lot of inspiration from what is already in an existing house. Is that right?
Yeah, so sometimes I work on the basis of what does the house need, not necessarily just what you want. Because, for example, there's a lot of different styles out there, Hamptons, Mediterranean, coastal,
50%,
mid-century.
50% is Hamptons, isn't it?
It's Cape Cod, Frank.
Oh, sorry.
So sometimes people do have that strong direction, but if you're not quite sure, I also like to think about what the house needs. Sometimes it doesn't fit in the box that you want it to. So I guess I play an important role in helping people filter through their ideas and helping them understand what will work and what won't work, and bringing that vision to life in plan, elevation, 3D renders, all of the scheduling and specifications. I already have the experience and know who to look for in materials, who the best suppliers are, what sort of budget are we working with. I guess the guidance that I can give people helps to take away that overwhelming feeling.
There's so many options.
So many options.
And like in Tasmania, we're in some cases a little bit limited on certain products, suppliers, installers and stuff like that. But even without that, the choices are insane.
Yeah, and you don't always know how much that particular choice is going to cost you, or what are the pros and cons to that choice? Is it easily available? Is it actually going to create the effect that you're looking for?
How much does it cost to install? As we were talking just before, like choosing a product and you find out, oh, that's really cool, it's really cost effective, but the actual manufacturing and the install is like 5 times as much as another product.
Exactly. Yeah, and so these are the things that I guess I speak to the sales reps about and learn about during my design time. I never know everything, I'm always learning as well, but I've been doing it longer than most average clients have been doing it, so that's where I can help them.
What I've loved is when you've had clients come back and say, can you help us with our furniture? You know, and I never expected that side of it to come in, like they're a bit lost. Oh, it looks beautiful, but I don't want to ruin it by choosing the wrong furniture or curtains, you know, all sorts of, all that stuff, all the frilly stuff.
All the wife stuff.
Oh, I wasn't going to go there.
I think that's probably the most rewarding part of my job, is that I become friends with my clients. And this was a conversation we were having the other day in the office. The difference, because there's so many of us, we all have different skills, and the difference between myself and one of the other guys in the office, he's just black and white, gets the job done. Where I will ring my clients up, have a chat with them, they'll ring me, they're asking my opinion, we're friends, I know what they're doing, I know their children's names. And so you do build that emotional relationship with your client over the journey, and I guess that's what I love. It's really important to me that I understand their family, who they are, how they operate, what they're going to need in their home, because it's your home.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like you say, understanding, and you've done it for me and Veronica's house. You know, that's been a lot of fun, especially when you chuck in a few interesting posters in there of the whole team.
When I Photoshop the team photo above your bed, yeah.
It's funny when we showed some friends, they didn't even notice, and then we zoomed in and they go, what the?
Yeah, wait until the housewarming.
Fair point, yeah. Oh, dear.
We'll gift him a special photo.
Exactly.
Bedside table.
So what else in terms of interior design can people expect when they choose those sort of services? Like, what do they get out of it? Do you get mood boards? Do you get 3D walkthroughs? How does that work?
It depends on the project and the client and what I feel the client needs sometimes. But generally speaking, yes, you get those things. A lot of clients can't visualise, or at least one person in the couple will usually not be able to visualise really well. Or maybe the wife has a different idea to the husband, or, whoever's working. I've had business partners, whatever. One's got a different idea to the other, or they can't communicate the idea. So first of all, I always joke that I'm a marriage counsellor as well. But first of all, I like to decode the ideas, because I can understand what they're telling me, and I put that into visual renders for the clients. Start with mocking up the floor plans, start building up those rendered spaces. So that's a photo-like image that clients can really see the space. And I've had clients say to me in the past that that's when they really got it and trusted me, because they knew I got their vision. And then after I've showed them the pretty stuff, I work on the details, and that's what the builder needs. And from a builder's point of view as well, they love it, because all of the decisions are made for them. It's all drawn, the joinery is drawn, the plans are drawn, the elevations are drawn.
The tiles are set out.
The tiles are there. If I need to do a special tile layout, definitely that's set out as well. I will guide the builder on lead times if I need to as well. So builders love it because the level of detail that they're getting saves them time, which is going to save you money.
But also accuracy of pricing, as the builder's providing a price to do the work, you've got a level of accuracy rather than if you don't have it, I think go this tile, that tile, colours, fittings, because they've just gone into the hardware store to pick them or a specialised store and they haven't actually joined it all together and what works. And like I say, lead times is a massive thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, my clients are paying good money for my services. They're paying for a qualified professional to do this project for them. So they're going to get all of the information, which means I've gone through with them the questions. We know at the end of the day what they want. So the builder, they can go to 3 different joiners, 3 different builders, they can get their quotes, apples for apples, and they can go, well, why is yours $20,000 more expensive than this person? Explain. The builder's not having to go, what tile do you want? Oh, I don't know. Oh, let's all go down to the shop together. The builder's wasting his time. He could be laying those tiles.
Exactly. And you know where I see it's even a bigger benefit, and we've discussed this, is commercial. You do commercial, not just people's homes, but doing commercial. And the reason I say that, a lot of businesses undervalue having interiors done for their new office, display space where they're having meetings or, you know, obviously if you're doing a specialised public space, you definitely need it. But even just basic offices, doing it well where you have customers come in, it can make such a wow effect without a huge amount of effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, an accountant doesn't want to choose curtains.
No.
They just outsource it. Outsource it to me. I do the whole lot. And the other important thing there, which I think is where our point of difference is that we are building designers as well. So when it comes to permits, comes to planning, regulations, NCC, compliance, ventilation, all of the above, we can handle it. We know what to look for. We're not doing silly things saying, let's remove this load-bearing wall. Oh, that's not
But
allowed.
even then putting the wrong size door in and you don't meet accessibility. So what I mean by that is you can't bring a wheelchair or someone in a walking frame into a room.
Absolutely. We consider accessibility, fire, electrical,
All that.
energy compliance.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything.
But I have had comments from other people in the past with interiors where they've paid no attention to that and it's caused major problems later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that people don't understand sometimes. It's just a lack of knowledge.
Exactly right. If you've just done interiors and you haven't done architectural building design or similar or worked in that space, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know what's that weird thing hanging off the ceiling. I'll just get rid of that. It's a fire detector.
Yeah, that's right. I guess it's not a highly regulated industry and there are different levels of qualifications. So I did not do my interior design degree. I did my architecture degree, but I did my interior design course at TAFE. So technically an interior designer should have done their degree.
Goes hand in hand.
Correct, but because I've done my architecture degree, they start off the same at UTAS, the same degree, and I didn't go into the same level of, I'm not sure exactly what they do, finishes, etc. But I obviously have the backing of the architecture degree to understand all of those other aspects.
Plus real world training.
Real world training.
To be fair, previously working, in the building industry, then working with us and just learning all these other different techniques and stuff too. But also then you're learning from engineers, access consultants, building surveyors, all these people that we use in the industry. Put that together and you can cover most things that you come across when you come and do interiors.
Yeah, we're really lucky that we actually do have an access consultant in the office. I use her all the time, so I probably owe her a coffee. But
a few more,
I reckon. A few more coffees. But yeah, that's right. Like, just you don't always know what you're going to come across, and we are lucky. I'm lucky to have access to all of those resources.
I think it's really great that it does sort of work hand in hand to have, the knowledge and the backing of building design and then interiors as well, so that you can factor in all of those other things, especially with builders and stuff too, because we do like to have, a really good relationship with them, and building designers, interior designers working together with the builder so that all of those costs can be calculated early on, and then you don't have sort of those allowances in the quote.
Yeah.
It could be
provisional
fixed.
sums or
yeah,
exactly. And we keep talking about that all the time, is when you're doing your extension of your house, brand new house, you need to have fixed pricing. Having loose ends only cause you pain later down the track because the figure you're given isn't a true figure. And you could be 5, 10, 20% out of your total budget because everything hasn't been defined.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's another part of the bonus of doing the interior design service first, is because you've already ironed out most of those creases. You're not changing your mind because we have a whole vision already. So on site, you're not saying to the builder, you've allowed for this sink, but I want this sink and I want this tap, and this one cost me $500, $1,000 more. And a few of those changes really add up.
Oh, totally. Even think about, we're talking about windows, changing to a high performance window, and you realise it costs you 4 times as much to install the window than a normal window. It's all sorts of things that you change on the fly, and that's where people really get caught out budget-wise.
And it's all well and good until the final invoice comes in.
Or even partway through and you're freaking out.
Yeah, and you've ran out of money.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like what you say before, Amelia, about the relationship with trades. I feel really comfortable on a building site. I love working with builders, plumbers, electricians, whoever it is, because communication is key.
But to be fair too, you're not talking bullshit with them.
No,
because you're fair dinkum, because you know the stuff and you listen to them. I've seen you listen to what they have to say and what you're trying to achieve. That makes a massive difference. You're not dictating to them.
Well, I'm not a plumber.
No.
And I don't pretend to be. So if I want plumbing advice...
Definitely don't look like one. I know a few plumbers.
I don't smell like one.
You don't have a plumber's crack today?
No I was
you went there.
I was not going there. My plumber's crack is tucked away. Yeah, so...
There's your train of thought thrown out completely, isn't it?
But we've had feedback from builders on site saying, oh, it's great working with Prime Design, working with Tahleah, because everything's there, already done for me. And I've had them call me up, oh, we're on site, how do you want to do this? Because maybe there's something that was unforeseen, or maybe they're debating if what I've done is correct. And so I go down and I show them, well, actually, yes, this is the reasons why I've decided to do it this way, and the problem's solved immediately. The client hasn't even had to be involved.
Now, what's interesting, though, is when they don't call you. And we have this ourselves in the building design commercial, and builders and plumbers don't call you and don't ask, well, why have you done it this way? And had one recently, and we had to make some very hastily modifications to the design to keep compliance because they put the plumbing in the wrong spot because they thought it was a good idea in that instead of what we'd drawn. But they didn't appreciate for the compliance for accessibility. It's when they don't call you, and we've had this before, I remember on some joinery on an office, and they didn't contact you and said, oh, it can't be done. That's what they told the builder, but they never spoke to us. And they came up with some other, shall I say, dumbass solution where all they had to do was communicate with you and you'd work with them to still get the same look, but...
Use a different product.
Yeah. That's all it is, and it's a phone call and we get in and because the vision is very important to make sure it matches because that's what the client has signed off on.
That's what the client's paid me for.
Yep.
So, yeah, I do like to try and get early now because if I can introduce myself to the builder, oftentimes I think they see interior designers as an unknown quantity. They don't know what kind of reception they're going to get.
Yeah, but also don't know if you're a nutbag.
They don't. Look, I'm trying to be polite here, Frank.
Well, it's true. They don't know you, and I'm past, and I've had it too. The past designer, he was an arsehole, so I didn't want to deal with it, so I didn't ring you either. Says, I'm not an arsehole. Call me. I'm here to help.
That's right. Some designers are very particular in their ways and aren't open to the advice of other professionals. And I'm definitely not like that. I would prefer to have good communication with the builder or the tiler, whoever it is on site, because I do not know everything. And if I don't know, please tell me. And it's no different for when we went to the opening for the bar. Yeah. I went and thanked every single person there and asked them, can I do something better next time to make your job easier? There wasn't really a lot of feedback, negative feedback.
No. And the results speak for themselves. It looks freaking awesome. So good, and the cocktails are amazing. And
it's very
food's
easy.
amazing. The food's amazing.
Very easy to sit in there for a few hours and waste an afternoon.
Oh, it's absolutely sensational. Yeah, but like you say, it's building that relationship with the builders and the sub-trades as well to be able to really achieve what the client's vision is, and then from there learn from them as well.
Absolutely. Like the office you referred to just before, I know the builder did call me when it was 2 weeks out from being complete and told me that the tiles I selected were not available. When I investigated that, they just had a 2-week lead time on them. So I had to hastily make a new selection, and he did apologise. He said I should have found that out beforehand. So that's something I've learnt. If there's a product I know is custom made, it's 6 weeks lead time, whatever it might be, I get onto it straight away and tell the builder, this is going to take a little longer, make sure you've ordered this.
Exactly, yeah.
So also with interior design, at what stage in the process, whether it be an extension, whether it be a new build, what stage in the process should you engage an interior designer?
Yeah, absolutely. I do like to be involved in our office. If somebody else is doing the design, I like to get involved in the concept stage when it's almost complete. So we do break our process up into the 3 stages: concept, planning and building documentation. So when I know what I'm working with concept wise, we've got 2 bathrooms, we've got a kitchen, we've got a butler's pantry, what have you, that's when I can step in and start talking to the clients. But I also don't think it's too late to engage me as long as the building hasn't really started, though in saying that I have worked on a project that was being built as I was designing it. So there's no wrong or right time.
The funny thing is, I've brought you into some projects. The clients finally made a decision, trying to convince them to do the interiors because you really need to do this, and it's like way at the end of the project, which then limits your capability of doing certain things or a certain look they want because of how, could be the joinery, could be the windows, could be a whole bunch of stuff that may not work exactly how they probably the picture they want, but they've left the decision too late.
Yeah, that's right. It might mean that I can't change some plumbing around or whatever it might be because we've already got a permit.
Exactly. Or partway through the build, that's like you're saying, that's always a winner.
Yeah, but that's okay because then we can come up with another solution. We see it as an opportunity to make a different decision.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So what are the take-home points for anyone that is feeling a little bit overwhelmed, not sure where to start with interior design, or not sure whether they should even engage an interior designer? What are your take-home points, Tahleah, for getting started?
Oh, literally just call me. I think so many people, when they give me a call, if they left a message on my phone, they sound nervous. They sound like they shouldn't be calling me.
Oh, it's by reputation, that's why.
It's not just the interior designer, it's just me.
They know the bribe isn't big enough.
They haven't got enough wine. No, I do think that interior design is really, in Tasmania, when I first did my course, the teachers actually said to us, they said, oh, there's not a lot of work, not a lot of opportunity for work here.
I remember that talking to some of the lecturers at the uni about that too.
Yeah.
When I got invited to go and have a look at some of the stuff out there, and I thought, I think you make the work too.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I think we're flat out now, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm quite busy with interiors. I always have some projects on the go. So I do think it's become less, taboo, like it's become more common to be using a designer, but it's still, maybe some people think it's a little bit out of their league or...
I think it's more achievable.
It is now, but...
Where I don't think it was before, because we always thought it was a bit of a black art and these crazy people come up with these dumbass looking designs and it's not practical.
I think some of the home design shows maybe have made it more to the fore.
I think so, yeah. And I think people like to express themselves.
Absolutely. There's so many ways to do that. You've got TikTok and you've got Pinterest and you've got all of the TV shows, Grand Designs, whatever. There's so much out there now, that all these ideas that people can get. But again, they get overwhelmed and they don't really know how to put it together.
I think it's our overwhelm component, but sometimes just having a meeting as like a sounding board and just checking things out to then build the confidence to then open up about your ideas.
Well, so that's the other thing. Sometimes people feel like you're going to take over their ideas, and I don't. I don't know what other people's process are, but if you have a really good design idea, that's fabulous. I'll draw it up for you and I'll tell you what will or won't work, and we'll find the right way forward.
And it's a faster process.
It's way faster. But yeah, I just think that the take-home message is just give me a call. Just call and find out. I'm not scary. Much.
I'm not saying a thing.
It's the plumber's crack.
There it goes again.
It's not the plumber's crack. I'm a little bit loud. Yeah, I don't really know. What would your take-home message be, Amelia?
I would say if you're not sure, like you said, engage somebody. And I would do it early in the process. Don't leave it to the last minute, and work out if it's something that you need, or, there's lots of different packages available. So you can sort of mould it to what you need, I think, to a degree.
I think it's also finding what you like,
I think it's finding the right person that you gel with.
Totally, and that's no different with the design and all that too. But sometimes, even with design, we need people to come in with their ideas, their thoughts, some sketches. Like you say, grab some photos, go to Pinterest. You're just trying to find information. The hardest thing I've noticed for a lot of people is trying to stick to one clear vision, because there's just ideas everywhere.
Oh,
it's like
so
I have
many
people come in,
ideas.
I love this house, love that and all that, and they want a single-story house, but they send me 2-story photos or images, and it says, well, no, that doesn't work. If you've got a single story, you can't compare the two.
Proportions are different, scales
exactly,
different,
but
whatever.
maybe it's the design, the style that they wish to aim for. Same with the interior, You've got to really narrow it down what you like. But also, it's also good to share what you don't like.
Absolutely, and I think a major part of this job is reading people. It's not just...
Do you do that to me?
I do not psychoanalyse you, Frank.
That's going to be a long job, I reckon.
It's too overwhelming. Just reading people, reading between the lines. Like, as I said before, you show me your Pinterest board and a lot of people say, I need to tidy it up. Don't, because that is a full story of you.
Yep.
And
totally
that's
agree.
my job, to read through the lines and tidy it up.
And it's the same with the design of the house. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Sketches are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All those sketches don't always work. Those stairs.
No, I love when people make stairs that are only a metre long on their sketches. But it doesn't matter. It's the intent and the idea. And don't be scared. We don't judge people on their sketches or their ideas. It's not about that. It's us to help you come up with something that's going to work.
That's why you engage a professional.
That's right. But some people are quite intimidated by that as well.
I think that's the right word. That's probably what I was meaning before when people call and they sound nervous. I do think maybe they feel like working with a designer is intimidating.
Oh, and I can understand that.
Which is a shame.
But that's like going to any professional, It takes a while to build up the trust, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. Reading people, working with people, building that trusting relationship, because it is so emotional and it's expensive to build a house. It's the biggest investment that a lot of people make.
Yep. And don't think you're ever going to get it perfect either.
No. There's always something.
And when you move in, would have done that different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't try to... I think that's in life in general. Don't try to reach for perfection. You get close, but that's okay.
I mean, my parents did a good job of perfection.
Crickets.
Everyone's got tickets on themselves, haven't they?
We might wrap it up there,
I think we
folks.
should. I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Tahleah.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We
for
might
having
have you
me.
back again.
We'll see.
Thank you.
Plumber's crack and all.
Yeah. I can't believe you're saying that. It's usually me.
Look how polite and professional I am.
Wait till they get to know you.
Thanks for listening to the Building Design Primetime Podcast.
See yous.
You're listening to the Building Design Prime Time Podcast.